Ladies and gentlemen and everything in between, welcome to Circle/TV. I'm Chris.
I'm John.
And I'm Chelsea. And this is Opinions by Assholes. Today we're going to be reviewing the newest installment in the Crash Bandicoot series, Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Everyone's favorite marsupial. We've been waiting for the next installment since the end of Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. There were a few other games that came out after that, but we don't talk about them. The reboot a couple years ago was great. We were glad to see those 3 wonderful installments brought back to life, but everybody's been kind of waiting for the continuation of this trilogy. So this is our first taste, and these are our opinions as assholes.
Yeah. It came out on October 2nd, so it's only actually been out for a few days, and we've spent too many hours playing this fucking game and getting very frustrated. We haven't broken any controllers yet.
Not yet. It's coming soon.
But we're getting there.
Which brings us to our first point. The difficulty of the game has been ramped up to an exceptional level compared to the rest of the Crash Bandicoot series.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the original 3, only the remastered Insane Trilogy, which I've been told is actually even more difficult than the original 3, which were already difficult. Am I correct?
Okay, so I grew up playing these games from their first ever release in 1996, and I think there are a couple different factors that make this game especially difficult, and also the remasters, if we're going to talk about that. Once you build up this kind of certain muscle memory that you got from the mechanics of the original games on the PlayStation 1, and then they brought back that reboot, they changed a lot of just, the hitbox detection when it comes to landing on these certain platforms, how things move, just the smoothness of the jumps and the weight of the jumps. And although it updated it in a certain way, it made it a lot more difficult. I thought that this game, because they had not been using old level designs, that these were completely new level designs that were tweaked to be congruent with that kind of gameplay style, would have been more seamless and more, I don't know, I don't want to say easier, but just more digestible. It would have made sense. But I think the muscle memory of my playing this for 25 years has actually made it almost like a learning curve for me to try to train myself out of that muscle memory, and it's been extremely difficult for me. It's very, very difficult compared to the earlier installments. I think it's very, very hard.
Adding to the difficulty, they have 4 new masks in this game you have to acquire throughout gameplay, which all offer their own, enhanced abilities throughout the game. Actually, there's I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these right, Lani Loni, which is a mask you get that can actually phase items in and out of existence. We have Akanu, who basically just gives you like a super spin and super jump. Kupunu Wa, which will slow time. And Ika Ika, which is the gravity one, which we have not yet acquired in our many hours of playing.
You get it.
Much like the 3 remasters, there's a level of replayability with collecting all the gems for completionists who want to get 100% on the whole game. Crash 4, however, has a shitload of gems and relics and other things. We got flashback VHS tapes you get to collect, which open up other bonus levels. You can play as multiple characters, which have their own levels and their own storylines that kind of interweave throughout the game.
There's multiple extra characters throughout the game that have unique abilities to themselves. They have their own unique levels that eventually, once completed, tie into the levels that you've already played in the game.
Additionally, when you collect a certain amount of gems in specific levels, it unlocks various skins for both your characters. You can also play as Crash and Coco interchangeably throughout every single level in the game, and each of them have their own, I believe we count as like 40-some available skins and costumes you can have.
Every map also has their inverted modes, which can transition you to old-timey kind of distorted reality to black and white that eventually turns to color while you run throughout the map, or different color variations throughout the series.
But also for these inverted levels, there is a specific set of gems that comes only from the inverted levels. So if you get 6 or so gems in the standard level, then you can also acquire 6 or so gems in the inverted version of the same level. It's actually exactly the same. It's just mirrored, but it's actually quite challenging. And I know you will have to go through these levels multiple times. Going through it in mirror mode is quite challenging, as the entire game is very, very challenging.
Yeah, trying to get 100% on any of these levels is extremely difficult because there's hidden boxes on almost every single level that are out of your view and tough to reach.
Additionally, with all the gems, there's hidden gems for every level. But in the inverted levels, those gems are hidden in a completely different place. So it's basically playing the whole level over again from scratch with no knowledge of what you're supposed to do.
It's very different playing this game, like I said before, if you've played the original 3, even with the remaster, just because the perspective has changed so much and you have such a wide expanse of what you can see as you know, throughout the entire level. You can see a lot more, but there's a lot more going on. So it's very distracting when you see all these incredible level designs and you're trying to focus on getting every single box, and some of them are very hidden and you have to look in these nooks and crannies and trash cans and dumpsters and, you know, things that you wouldn't typically look for in a Crash Bandicoot game, because usually you can kind of see just by looking a little bit left to right, oh, something's a little bit out of view. But this forces you to look a little bit off the beaten path. Sometimes there are different alternative paths that you can take to get these extra crates. So it's very, very different. But I do think, you know, I've been on Reddit and I've read a lot over the past few days of people that have talked about this game, and they say that it's unfairly hard. And I disagree. I think that it's more challenging. And of course, I'm the worst at this game out of the 3 of us, as much as I've played it. But I think that it's something that will come with time, and I think it will be rewarding at some point. You just have to put in the work, and you have to keep playing it over and over again, which I don't think a lot of people are used to when they just speed through games like this. They just think that it's going to be easy. But there is an increased element of difficulty now with this game, and it's changed a little bit.
Another new feature they added to this game, in addition to all the inverted levels, all of the various character skins you can unlock, etc., is they have a Bandicoot Battle section where you can actually play against each other in a multiplayer thing. It's currently only just like, it's literally past the controller. I believe it says so on the screen.
Yeah, it's just past the controller to player 2.
Yeah, but there's 2 options. There's one that's a time related one. Let's see, you know, try to beat each other to the next checkpoint, and the other one is a box collection.
Mm-hmm.
One, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Box combo.
It's a crate combo.
Yeah, crate combo. That's
crate combo. There she is.
Yep.
Yeah, the first one's essentially like a speed run type of thing. The second one, you try and bash crates and combo them and chain them together so that you can get more points, and whoever has the most points at the end wins the round. One thing that really bothers me about the game is loading screens. I feel like every time I enter a level, there's a loading screen, and then there's a second loading screen after the loading screen, which is just a black screen with a little blue ball at the bottom. I really wish they would have just put some art or characterization or tips or anything during the loading screen just to make it more interesting, if they're going to be that long, which sometimes they can be.
They are incredibly long.
Even if you're just trying to restart the level, they can be, you know, a minute long, which is feels like forever
absurd
when you're just trying to get into the next thing. Something I really enjoyed about the game, actually, though, which kind of surprised me, was the art style. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but there's really vibrant colors, and they went a little bit more dramatic on the cartoonish look, which I think is the point of an animated game. If you have an animated game, push it towards the cartoon style. Don't try and make it look as realistic as possible, because Crash Bandicoot and games like it are not meant to be a realistic representation of life. It's supposed to be something out there that allows you to go into a different world that's different from where you are now.
No, I kind of wanted to piggyback off what you said, because I do think that a lot of people disagree with you, and I think it's for a different reason. I don't think they want it to be more hyper-realistic, but I think that a lot of older Crash fans really value the very jagged edge look of the original series, and what they fail to recognize is that as consoles have progressed, the necessity for things to be just complete polygon shapes with these sharp edges it's come and gone.
It's not
it was
1996
ugly
anymore.
because ugly was the best that they could do.
Right.
Well,
Get over your nostalgia.
It wasn't even ugly was the best that they could do. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, you know, for the character of this. And I agree. I've watched like this like mini documentary that talked about how like different points and angles made this character what it was and everything like that. That's I'm not poo-pooing on that to any degree, but I do think that as the game progressed, even in the first 3, when you get to something like Warped, and you saw the levels where Coco's riding the tiger, for example, you know, like those levels in China where she's riding the tiger, and you see these new levels. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but there are a couple really beautiful levels where, you know, there are dragons and things floating through the air. This is the next generation of something like that. This is the more improved version of something like that, where they can make it more vibrant, more lifelike, more exciting, more distracting, and more difficult. So, I mean, I don't really think there's a problem with it. I think it was a natural progression, and I think it was great.
Yeah, it's like people that will only watch black and white movies who think they're better because they're black and white.
So
They're not better because they're black and white. They were black and white because that's what they could do at the time.
Crash Bandicoot
Except
hipsters.
The only thing that I don't enjoy is how difficult the bonus levels are, more than anything else.
That's true. They are exceptionally more
Yeah.
difficult than the Insane Trilogy.
Like I can deal with the level being hard. I'll go through the checkpoints. I'll do that. But the bonus level, knowing that I have to complete this, and yes, you can die as many times as you want. That's fine. But just it does get frustrating to me. I always thought that the bonus level was supposed to be something that you should be relieved to see. And now I see it. I'm like,
Yeah, it's become more of like an intense puzzle challenge.
Yeah,
almost.
it's very intense.
Where it's like each one you have to figure out the different moveset and then the order you have to do things. It gets a little complicated and convoluted in my opinion as well. But
it's
actually-
just practice, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Something else we didn't talk about is the you actually, when you start off the game, you have two ways you can actually play the game. There's the modern mode, which doesn't actually, you don't rack up a number of lives that once you lose them all, then you got to start everything over. It actually just gives you like a death count of how many times you died while trying all of this. But there's the other option, which is, they just call it classic mode. I forget.
Retro mode.
Yeah. So in retro mode, it's like the classic games where you have X amount of lives to start with. You can earn more lives, but once they're out, you're done.
This game would be absolutely impossible to do, and any game prior to this, that was how you played it. Retro mode was the default and only mode. You could only play this game if you ran out the number of lives and you had to do a game over. You would start again with 4 lives. That's how it was. But playing this game, I feel like it would be borderline sadistic to yourself to want to do that to yourself. That's insane to me. I don't know how anybody could do. I'm sure there will be plenty of people that will do it just to,
they're
just
just
to
for
prove
bragging
something.
rights.
They're gonna speedrun the fuck out of this
I
game.
can't wait to see people
I also
speedrun
can't wait.
this.
Crazy.
I would love to see it, but
There's so many obstacles and weird shit in every single level. Like speedrunning it is going to be ridiculous.
playing this game, even if I wasn't being observed, stresses me out because doing the dumbest thing makes me embarrassed for myself. It's just like a downward spiral of just like cataclysmic, just insane embarrassment of myself. But it's something that you have to do if you want to get good at a game like this. It's really, really, really difficult. But I'm sure, within a week or so, we're going to see a speed run that's done in like 60 minutes and it'll all make us
pretty much
feel pretty bad about ourselves. But
Yeah, all 40 some levels. I think it was like 43 levels, 47 levels.
Yeah.
we didn't even talk about the bosses, which I don't even know if you've seen since you've been over here, if you've seen any of the boss levels, but you've played a couple of them.
Yeah,
I started
like
playing
2
one
or
of
3
them because I was laughing so hard that I couldn't get through it. But they're very creative. The one almost pissed you off so bad I thought you were gonna be done.
Yeah,
Like,
that was bad.
that was really bad. But I remember the first one, the engine one that we played with the music stuff.
Oh yes.
I thought that was really cool. It was almost like a rhythm game, but also still very much a boss level. And what I really liked about it is that a lot of boss levels are kind of unfair to the point where you play a boss level for a very, very long time and you get so many hits in and then you die
Right before
at the
last
very,
hit.
very end. Now, this didn't just necessarily let you pick up at the last hit, but it'll let you pick up from the last round of hits that you need to do. And I felt like that was fair considering how difficult it is, how many steps are involved in dealing with this boss level. Like I think it's fair. I think it's difficult, but I do think it's fair. And when we first saw the video of it, I thought it was a lot harder than it actually was. When we were playing it, I was like, okay, I see how this works now. Once you get the hang of it, it makes sense. But they are very creative. And like I said before, I really like how they're implementing the music more into the levels. They actually, if you listen to the music sometimes when you're playing certain levels, there are clues and cues with the music that add to the rhythm of the cycles of what you're supposed to be doing.
And will assist you in getting through it.
If you can calm yourself enough to listen to it, it does help. But if you're stressed out like I am, I mean, I just get so spastic. I'm like, "Ah," and then I just die. So, but that is a feature.
For me, I haven't played the game too much, but from what I've played, it's really fun. I really enjoy the art style and the music inside the game. I like the difficulty of the game. I really like games that are hard to play, so it was enjoyable for me. It's not something I would generally normally play. I'm more into like more hyper realistic, over the top.
Dark Souls. He
Dark
likes Dark
Souls.
Souls.
I like Dark Souls series, games and stuff like that, or first-person shooters and things along those lines. For the next game in a series that I enjoyed so much in my childhood, I think it did a really good job, and I would give it like an 8 out of 10.
Seems fair. I'm gonna agree. Probably about an 8 out of 10. Again, I agree with you completely. With the load screens are abysmally boring and really frustrating. But what's even more frustrating is the gameplay, which is actually a pro in my pro con column, because I do find the challenges very exciting, very rewarding once you accomplish all of it. And I love I don't mind going back and replaying the same level over and over, trying to collect all the gems, the inverted ones, just 100% complete everything. It's very satisfying to see everything completed. Overall it's super fun. I never really played the original ones, but I did play the remasters, really enjoyed the remasters, and I enjoy the shit out of this one. Even though I've only been playing it for 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, it hasn't been out for that long.
It's only-
Pros, a lot of things. I also really enjoy the art style. I love that this is coming back because it was such a huge part of my childhood. I mean, the first game came out when I was 6, so I literally grew up playing this game. Cons are just... It's just the difficulty, but that isn't really even necessarily a con because I feel like because of the way that I play games, I'm not necessarily the most determined completionist. I'm more of a gamer tourist. I enjoy playing the game, and I think this will last me for a very, very long time. I think I will get a lot of longevity out of this game, and it's good because there is a lot to look for. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to enjoy. The multiple characters are great. There's always something new to learn, which is always good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I really have no qualms with this game. I would probably give it an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. The only reason that I'm not going to give it a 9 or a 10 is because I know the most casual gamer and people that might look at this series and think that it might be a fun thing to buy for their children or, get for somebody for Christmas that isn't necessarily the most serious gamer. This is something that does take a lot of patience and a lot of perseverance, and I don't want to dissuade anybody in that way. It's not necessarily the happy-go-lucky fun game that you might think it is. It's very, very difficult. So with that said, it's not what it appears to be, which is fine, but it is a tad bit frustrating, but rewarding. So I think that's my final say.
So yeah, if anyone else has played it, let us know what you think. If you haven't played it, 3 of us recommend it. Take that for what it is. Enjoy your week. Have a lovely fucking whatever.